chair. Uh-oh. Oh no! You just broke it?
Dang it! My beanbag!
You just broke it on the corner.
It ripped! This was my favorite chair.
Let's sew it back together.
What do you think is the best way to do this?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another Silas Needs to Eat a vlog. Today I got a special guest with me.
Sonny Weishaupt.
Born and raised in Germany, alright? That way, when we talk about the difference between America and Germany, we have both sides of the coin. So all you Germans can stop getting so mad at me in the comments.
What's up, guys? So one thing I have to say before we start, though, is that I did live in the United States for a year in high school and somewhere else in the United States for half a year for college. So I do feel like I have a pretty good sense of, both cultures and countries.
And I, born and raised in the States, I've been here now for almost a year, 2 seasons. So we both have a little bit of both going on. So you're going to get some legit information, hopefully. Again, I want to clarify that when we talk about Americans, we talk about Germans, we're talking about just like in general, like there's a consistent theme that exists in the culture, but it doesn't necessarily mean for everybody. So from your perspective as a German, I'm going to hit you with the big question first.
All right, here we go.
What would you say is a consistent theme across Germany on what is your priority in life?
Well, as you said before, is that I think efficiency and playing by the rules, it's one thing that actually, a cliche that is true for Germans. So we like to do things the right way at the first time and be efficient with while we're doing it. So that's the outcome, and if you think about the industry that we peak in, it's the car industry.
Every country has something it doesn't
Pros
do.
and cons.
Yeah, pros and cons. So
Yeah.
I think America has its pros and cons, Germany has its pros and cons.
So if you think about what's great about Germany, the first thing that came to my mind, and being a college student here, studies. I mean, my tuition is 260 euros a semester. And to those who don't know about the translation of dollars to euros, it's basically equal. So $260 for a semester, including I do get a public transportation ticket that works all over the state that I live in right now, which is phenomenal. And as Silas said before, public transportation system in Germany is just working awesome. You can get everywhere you want to go and everywhere you need to go by using a train, bus, or whatever.
Okay, let's talk about mindset. Priority, mindset, I think those are kind of interchangeable. Do you think that there is one consistent theme throughout everybody in Germany, young and old, that is their mindset on how to look at life? Somebody in the comments talked about how I mixed up cause and effect on following the rules. I really liked what he said. I can't remember who it was, but he said that most Germans just want to live a nice, peaceful life. They want to have a good balance. I like that. A good balance between work, family, social, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And he said in order for that to happen, everyone has to follow the rules. Germans are not necessarily just all about following rules, but that is a piece of the puzzle that needs to be in place for them to live the way they want. Would you agree with that?
Right, definitely.
I want to clarify too, in the last one, when I was talking about the differences between American and German, I was talking about the rules that Germans follow, none of that is in a negative context. When I was talking about how recycling and bringing your own bags and stuff, I think that's a great idea. I have 2 reusable grocery bags now. I just take them every time I go and I get groceries that way. I think we should do it in the States. To me, that's not a big deal. Recycling, I think people should recycle. Healthy environment. That's just not a big priority for Americans in general, and I would say that Germany does a great job in that. And so whenever I say difference and talk about the differences, it doesn't necessarily mean that one is bad and one is good. It just could be different. Now, I think some are better than others, and some could be better. So let's do this to sum it up, so people look at it and be like, okay, what are the big differences? Let's do, if we possibly can, do top priority of Germans. That's general. Top priority for Americans. Give 3 or 4 examples of how that plays.
Speaking in generalization is not my strong suit, I have to admit that. Trying my hardest, though, is, as I said, probably the top priority, basically to be happy for yourself. And that's just probably my point of view, but I see a lot of people within my circle that feel that way. Is you try to be happy, and you can only get into a happy society if you're happy yourself. Once again, you know, we all a small piece in the bigger circle of it, so that's one thing. And then you have to run by the cliches about, you know, playing by the rules that are set, and doing all the small things right, waiting when you have a red light and there's nobody there, you still have to wait because that's the rules, and you want somebody else to wait at the red light if you want to cross the street, right? So
Yeah.
don't be that guy that doesn't do that.
So really, I think what it comes down to is that everybody's trying to pursue what they think is best.
Basically.
It's so difficult because there's so many individuals that have different thinking, but like you can look at a country and see there's a consistent theme, and a lot of that comes from media and what the country spends their money on, things like that. You can see. So in America, I think that there is a consistent theme that says like make a lot of money, be successful,
Be the best.
Be the best.
That's
Like
basically it. Yeah.
yeah, like what I said, be the best, and that's a great thing, but it can be a bad thing, because I think it's more about how you get to be the best and for yourself, not
Be
just
the best you.
Yeah,
not
be
the
the-
best overall.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people think like that.
Right.
But that's just we're just trying to talk about one thing, not make it too complicated. Americans are about being the best. Now,
Right.
what that looks like is different for everybody.
Yeah.
Now, for Germans, this is my interpretation. He's about to give you his interpretation of both America and Germany. For me, from what I've seen from Germans, I think they are really good about just being the happiest they can be.
Yeah.
And that doesn't require having all the money in the world or being the best at everything. They're very consistent and satisfied with just being happy, and they believe in order to do that, everyone else needs to play their part, and so following the rules.
Right. It's more like that team atmosphere that you get, you know?
All right, so in summation, that way you actually have something to come away from this conversation. Americans, in general, want to be the best that they possibly be, but not just that, but being the best overall. And the way that plays out comes out in a bunch of different ways. Germans, you tackle that one.
Yeah.
So,
Well, like he said before, it comes a lot of from history, and we are sharpened by our history, obviously. Is that we try to be the best we can be, or I can be as a person, but we learn from our history that it's false to do that by hurting somebody else, you know? And that's, I see that for my generation that we live in right now, is that I try to be the best that I can be, if it's a player, if it's a student, if it's just me as a person. But the moment I have to hurt somebody by doing that is when I need to stop, you know? And I think that's something that a lot of people need to learn or think about, at least for once.
well, I hope that conversation made sense at all. If it didn't, I'm sorry. Very difficult subject, but we're going to come back to this and talk about it again sometime. There's a lot of interesting things that you can find when you just sit down and talk about different cultures. So we're going to keep coming back to this because I think it's really important that people from different places talk and communicate and learn from each other. What's pro, what's a con, what's the way that you do something that's better than the way we do, and vice versa.
Right.
I think conversation is crucial to growth between cultures, and just get over your pride. Like, if Americans have pride that, hey, we're the best, we can't learn from anybody, that's stupid. Same with anybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody's strong in areas they can learn from people, and if you have too much pride to admit it, you're never going to grow. So, hey, thanks for watching. Again, this is Sonny. He's actually my quarterback, so come check out our game on Sunday.
3 p.m.
3 p.m. That's
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt. All right, in Frankfurt. Come check out the Frankfurt Universe and let us know what you think in the comments. If you can figure out a better way to sum it up, leave it in the comment. If you want to bash us again, do it. Put it in the comments. We'll be back another time because we have more conversation coming soon. Appreciate it, and we'll see you tomorrow.
That's pretty tough. To break it down like that, especially, you know.
It's so hard. It's like the more you talk about it, the more difficult it gets.
Like
When it's over, I press rewind. Talking bands, I got it. Benjamins in my pocket. I Trading my truth for some robbers, and he's playing Batman. Fat, he's gonna rob him. Yeah. I got the Glock in my bra.